All right, everyone. Hey, welcome to another 90 Day Fiance chat. This time is before the 90 days. 90 Day Fiance is a reality show that follows couples, one person from the US, the other from another country. We watch them navigate, everyday relationship issues, long distances, along with cultural barriers, language boundaries, and the whole legal system when it comes to marrying someone from another country and the whole fiance process. I guess even the immigration process through marriage. It is 90 Day Fiance. Again, this spinoff is before the 90 days. Let's start with Faith and Lauren. Um, Lauren, as we kind of start their story, he had gonorrhea and he had one more day for his medicine. Faith, since after meeting Faith's family, she's kind of giving him a second chance when it comes to the gonorrhea and the sleeping with women while he was in a online relationship with her. So at this point, things are being forgiven, and Faith is letting their guard down and saying, I'm falling for Lauren again. He brings his test, saying basically his test is clear. So Faith is really jumping into things. And I'm glad that he brought the paper because I don't know if I could believe this person. the way that he operates. He actually had the paper, so that you need proof with some people. So Faith is like, well, let's get it on. And I'm like, okay, that's a little fast because I need a little bit more time for it totally to die down. Like, you just finished your medicine, you just got it all clear on your test, and give it a little bit more time in between there, because like I still feel a bit icky about that situation. Just now getting it all clear, just now finishing your medicine. It just a little more time. That's my thoughts. So they go on the night out to a drag show, and Lauren's like, hey, we're going to a drag show, maybe I can get a job here. So like Lauren's already thinking about jobs and whatnot in the Philippines, which may be a good thing. I don't know, because he's pretty much broke at this point. With the amount of money he brought to the Philippines, I'm pretty sure Faith is covering him at this point. But they hang out with Faith's friends, and the friends know that he's a cheater. They introduce themselves, and Faith seems like that she's happy with the situation, but the friend says, he's a cheater. I don't know how I feel about this guy. And in between that, Faith has to go up there and do a pole dance during the middle of the drag show. And I guess it was okay, but they really weren't like working on the pole. Like, not that I'm an expert in what pole dancing is, but aren't you supposed to like twirl on the pole? So Faith was kind of putting their leg on the pole, but really just twirling on the pole and not really jumping on the pole. So it was kind of different. It wasn't bad though, but it didn't seem like a traditional pole dancing show. I mean, they could have just danced like that without the pole. The pole wasn't needed. So after the little dance, I guess Lauren is so excited. Faith is so excited that they have their first kiss right after this dance. And I was thinking, not fresh off the gonorrhea, this is still too soon to me. Like, I feel the way that they edited it, I feel like it's like the next day that the test is clear and they're gonna go party, and it's too fast. I guess my forgiveness level takes a little bit longer. My trust level takes a little bit longer. My disease fear level takes a little bit longer. So at this point, the friends start to confront Lauren They asked him how many women he's been with between him at the time where he's supposed to be with Faith. He's like 5, no 7. And the French are like disgusted that he's just like giving all this information out with no shame. And he kind of has been doing that. If he's not, at least he's not like a total liar here. But, you know, his conduct is not good. But at least he'll tell you the truth about it. He went from 5 to 7. Like, I'm like, well, like, oh, 5. Oh, let me think about it. No, it was 7. And especially her best friend was really disgusted by this and the information. Um, so they're kind of doing their second chance thing right now, but the friends, they don't trust Lauren. I think they were trying to give him a chance and give it a chance, but after meeting him, it looks like a no. Especially when one of the friends pointed out that he was flirting while they were waiting for the car. I think they said they got into a little fight at the club, but then they made up. They were gonna take the car to leave, and while they were waiting for the car, Lauren was not very close by Faith, so she wasn't able to see that he was flirting with someone else. So the friends revealed that information to Faith. The friends also believe that he's kind of arrogant. So when they get in the car, you know, Faith confronts Lauren and she, you know, pulls out, well, you're like an arrogant white American man, which you just come over here like you can just do whatever you want and be this arrogant white man. So she kind of plays the race card on him a bit, which I'm not sure. That, to me, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere, but I think the friends kind of set that up. Like, he does whatever to you basically, and he doesn't mind telling us and anyone that he mistreats you, and he can do whatever he wants and treat you any type of way. But sorry, Faith, you're accepting this, and you were being pretty smart earlier, testing the waters. The second chance thing was too fast to me, just because the family was approving. I don't know. So Lauren, he defends himself, and he's like, at a drag show, you're supposed to flirt. This is just the regular thing that you do at a drag show. It makes them feel good. This is the part of the drag experience, is you flirt with them. I don't know what I did wrong. So that's how that session ends out. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Lauren. I feel like even if he is honest, he's probably going to get himself in a lot of trouble all the time. And I'm not going to be able to deal with his conduct, because it's like he does it. I wouldn't say he doesn't know, but I'm not sure. It's just his attitude is like he doesn't totally get how offensive he can be and how he can hurt other people that he's in a relationship with. So that alone, I mean, I feel like that's something you can't recover from unless maybe you get therapy and possibly have to go through all these different issues and test all these waters to finally have a respectful relationship with someone, because it's not innately in his character to be that way. So it's kind of scary. All right, we're gonna go to the next couple here. Matilda and Niles, they're trying to get married, and in Africa, I think it's Ghana, but Niles is like, I don't have the money right now. And the knocking ceremony, which is engagement, has to be follow up. The marriage has to follow right away. Mr. Ark let them know that information. So he said, you guys must get married on this trip. He feels like Matilda kind of misinformed him as far as how large the event had to be. He's like, it doesn't really have to be that expensive. They've been struggling and fighting, and Niles just decided to apologize and be the bigger man about the situation. And he said, our mistakes aren't important, but it's the fact that we're together. So I was really proud of him at that point. He said, it's not just about my way. Let's get married right after the knocking ceremony. Now that I know what we're supposed to do. this isn't an issue anymore. We're just going to do as the custom states and we're going to get married. And I just thought it was a really sweet moment between them. They've had a few. And he said, I love you. And I've had a change of heart. And I was just happy for them. And he was like, well, do we have to have a big party? And she says, no, we don't have to have the big party and spend all that money. He said basically he feels like that's his soulmate. He's like, even people born on opposite ends of the earth, the fact that they can come together and it fits perfectly for him. He feels like soulmates is real now because of the fact that he met this person on the opposite end of the world and they just fit, and that's his soulmate. And I thought that was really sweet. But now they have a lot to do for this wedding. She says, I think the producers asked, did Mr. Ark pressure you? Do you feel pressured into doing the wedding? Right after he said no, now that he knows how things are done, that he's agreeing to, follow their customs and respect them and respect Matilda. So I'm glad that he's not feeling that pressure. He is a person that deals with autism, so things are a little bit different for the things that he may go through, the way he perceives things. So I kind of understand why they asked that question. So they're off to discuss with the family. He keeps squeezing her cheeks, and I don't know, I guess it's a thing that he's into doing. She's like, no, stop squeezing my cheeks. We have work to do and plans to go forward with, and they're supposed to get married tomorrow. So Mr. Ark is supposed to discuss the bride price with him. He's leaving everything to Mr. Ark. He doesn't know the language and all of that, so he's hoping that he gets him a good deal for the bride price. He's like, he's hoping it's not too high because no one could pay the true value of her worth, which is true, which is also sweet. At the time, there's no men home as Mr. Ark and his wife come and represent Niles. So I think they get one of the uncle's permission. So I think the father's not around or a part of the family anymore. I'm not sure if he passed on. I'm not sure of that story, but the uncles are involved. So they call one of the uncles, and the uncles gives permission for them to handle things. So they discuss the bride price, and we come to find it's like $400 American dollars. And for Niles, it seems a little bit steep. And I'm sure many people say $400 is not a whole lot of money to buy a bride, so to speak, because that's their custom. But he reveals to Matilda later that day that he is having money issues. He lost his job, and he lost his job right before he got there, so that's why his money is so tight. All his money is really being used for the trip, and he has no more money left. And he's wondering how he's going to get money. He said most likely a lot of people would ask their parents, but because his parents don't approve, he's not able to get any help from his parents. And Matilda's kind of heartbroken. She said, well, if I would have known your situation, I wish you would be honest with me. I need someone basically that will be more honest and transparent up front, because it's just too much deception. And we could have got Mr. Ark to talk the bride price down lower, but since you agreed to everything, it's kind of too late to like renegotiate the price. And then I believe the knocking ceremony has to also be paid for on some degree. I'm not sure how much money that is. Again, this is a lesson in the fact that, hey, it probably would have been a better idea for them to do the knocking and the wedding when he returned, because he doesn't have the money. He's in between jobs. He wasn't honest about it. It can be very difficult your first meeting with someone, you're trying to impress them. You don't want to seem like possibly you're unfit to wed, that you're not capable, that you're not responsible. So I understand the conundrum he's in. Anyone could be in this position, but again, like Matilda said, his honesty would have been worth wonders at this time, because they could have been able to figure something out. But since he waited till the ninth hour or the last minute, it's hard to figure out how they're going to move forward. Okay, let's go to Adnan and Tiger Lily. They're kind of going through the same thing when it comes to the dress code and her learning more about the culture and things she can't do as a woman in the Muslim culture. So they supposedly had their baby making session in the middle of all of this. So they're like, hey, let's go to the pool. They're in Istanbul at the time. And the dress code again is an issue. She's like, I have to be totally covered up. I need some vitamin D for my skin. Why do I have to be completely covered up in this swimsuit? And she had like a couple choices of suits, but one was looked like a short dress. It wasn't super short, but it was like a dress, and the arms were out. The covered suit that she had was more acceptable, but it wasn't good enough. But he said, I'm just gonna have an exception for her and tell her it's fine, and we're gonna go to the pool. So she starts reminiscing about, while I fought to leave a controlling relationship in the past, so this is kind of giving me a little bit PTSD because now this is a very controlling situation. And he said to her previously, nothing is going to be the same when we get married. And she thought it was a romantic thing, but it was really a lot of protocol and things were going to change. And she was like, well, you weren't really specific about what was going to change. Things keep changing because of his religion. And she feels like she's in the space where she's the one that always has to compromise because he's following his religious beliefs. So when she says to him, okay, now that these changes have taken place, so the swimsuit I'm wearing now, is this good enough? He's like, well, no, you need to be even more covered than this. So things keep changing, and they're going to probably keep changing until she finally gets to the level of his belief system of what is acceptable. And he basically needs to just straight up tell her, because at this point, I don't know how much further you're going to scare her away, because you guys are already married, trying to have a kid. I feel like he really should have been honest from the get-go. He's a young man. She's a cougar. He was doing, I guess, what he thought was the best way to reel her in. But this is a bad way to start a relationship, to start a marriage, to not be open about every aspect, and to be kind of controlling and a little misogynistic. So that's kind of what I'm getting from Adnan right now. And I hope I said his name right, because sometimes I call him Advan and sometimes I call him Adnan. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I hope this time I said his name right. All right, let's go to Joe and Magda. He says Dzień. I think that's right, Dzień. And I think that means good morning in Polish. So he's asked, are you still mad about the cheating situation? Like, she thinks I was cheating, but I thought I was just being single. I didn't know how serious she was taking things. I thought we were just talking stage at that point. So she's like, right now, let's just talk more later. Let's just do what we're going to do for the day. So go to the salt mines, and they try to have fun in spite of this upset about the cheating scenario. So when they return from the salt mines, actually at the salt mines, she's asking him, hey, is there anything that, well, I'll go back to this. I think she's saying they're gonna try to have fun in spite of this. He's being caring towards her and kind, which is something that she likes about him. As they go to the salt mines and they're getting a tour, there's a chapel there. There's statues that the miners made. Mining is dangerous, and so the miners had to kind of make their own statues, which were really beautiful. But it's a 700-year-old mine, and she was, I think, he asked her, would you get married in the mines? And she was like, I really don't know. She's still mad at him anyway. So he's like, Magda is salty in the salt mines. He's always making jokes. That one was a decent one, though. He apologizes again. She's afraid that he'll repeat his behavior of cheating. He's like, hey, I'm not with anyone else. I want you for the rest of my life. I mean, that's beautiful. Um, but I don't believe that guy. It's too soon. To me, he's a little shifty. He's a little bit of a playboy. So I don't believe. I think it was too soon for him to even say that. You know, that's the thing you say when you want to reel someone in because you know that that's what they want. Not really sure I believe him. Especially this is the first time you guys are meeting, the first trip together. Come on, that was too much. So she kind of questions him more about his past and what he's gonna do next, and you know, was there more than one woman in his life? Tell the full truth here, because if I find out something else, it's gonna be a problem. But he's like, no, there's nothing else. But you know, there's a thing in the back of his mind that he's friends with one of his exes. But he says that he's only hers, and he doesn't think it's a big deal, so he's not going to really tell her about it. And technically, I kind of don't think it's a big deal either. It was years ago when they dated. I mean, I don't see it being a big deal. I kind of don't like that idea because that kind of can open the door back. But again, I think when you are dating or married or in a serious relationship, there should be boundaries between your friends and yourself because you are in a relationship, so there should be certain boundaries that should be kept and not crossed. She feels like he's at a point where he needs to grow up, and she's totally right. He's been needed to grow up. So after the salt mines, she has a migraine, and he's caring. He takes care of her, gives her some ice, you know, just kind of dotes over her, which is a nice thing. They slept in the same bed together, but nothing happened. So the next day they meet her friends, and even that big Doberman-looking dog, which I would be afraid of. They're gonna go on a boat. So the friends are there, the dog is there, and she's like, meet your new father to the dog. And he's like, he does have to be careful because he knows the story about the dog biting her ex's family jewels. So he doesn't want to be that guy, but you know, he's in dangerous territory here because he's got the potential to be that guy. The friends reveal the information that she moved to, I think, Germany to be with her ex. So he's kind of upset about not knowing this information. He's like, well, is there anything else I don't know? Why are you so ready to rush into marriage and all of these things? Like he said, we just got into a fight, and she's still talking about marrying him and how soon they're going to do that and have kids and all of that. So he still has his red flags up when it comes to her wanting to marry so quickly. I think they both need to step back. And I think he needs to stop leading her on. And I think she needs to step back and take some more time and assess this man that she wants to so-called marry. They need to further assess each other. You know, you never know all of the different elements. Time will tell. And in a long distance relationship, it is easier to hide things. In online relationships, it is easier to hide things as well. So it's kind of hard to fully assess, but while they're there together, they should do as much as they can. Connect, maybe see a little bit of her real world life. And she needs to go up there and check out what's going on with him as well before they, you know, completely seal this deal of what their future's gonna look like. All right, Bojo and Vanya. It's just Vanya now because Bojo is gone. She calls her cousin up, FaceTime. The cousin says, you know, stay and enjoy yourself because she's like, I'm just going to probably go back home. She's like, no, don't let him ruin your time of relaxation and travel and vacation. Like, just stay there, get back on the apps, stop crying. You don't need Bojo. And her cousin kind of pushes her into fun and trying to find love again. So she's like, but my cousin is happily married. She doesn't get what I'm going through, but I'll give it a try. I'll listen to her. She's not sure what she's going to do right now. She's not sure about just hopping right back on the apps, but she takes herself out to eat, and this random guy kind of approaches her. And he says, I saw you there alone and you're beautiful. His name is Noah. He's from Switzerland. He tells her this story. And he's like, well, she tells her story, what happened with her and Bojo. And he's like, well, I guess we're having a date right now. And she's like, okay, he was coming on a bit strong. I was like, the guy was kind of cute. I mean, he was too fast of a rebound though, like, because, you know, it was a little bit too good to be true, because he was like, but you know what? I'm in a relationship, but we just opened our relationship. And she's like, well, he's like, if you're open to it, I can give you a call. She's like, thank you for the offer, but no thanks. She's like, that's fine for him, but I don't share. But she was happy to be hit on by somebody, because I guess it made her feel like, hey, at least I still got it, because Bojo really made her self-esteem go down pretty low. I mean, it was kind of bogus for him to have her go all the way over to his country and then not try to make a go out of it. I wonder if he's going to reappear in some type of way, but if he doesn't, I really kind of don't care. But yeah, that he kind of put her through a lot, and I'm glad she just cut things off the way she did and just didn't waste any more of her time trying to befriend this person. And I'm kind of curious as to what, if anything's gonna happen next. What would it be? What's going on with Bojo generally? What is his love life looking like? Because last we knew, he wasn't working at the time, and he used to be a basketball player but hadn't worked for a while. He's with his mom and aunt. And what's his situation and what's his deal? And what does he really need to be focusing on? Probably not his ex. Probably his career and what he wants to do with himself. And with Vanya, maybe he shouldn't even be focusing on Vanya either. He should be focusing on himself and what his future looks like. So, hey guys, we're done with this particular episode of 90 Day Fiance before the 90-day spinoff. So what are your thoughts, comments, questions? You can always hit me up. Email me at cbstv@yahoo.com, where we talk faith, love, and trends. All the best. God bless.